What is up, guys? It's Mekabre back today with the second podcast of season one. Okay, today it's gonna be a little different. I have a new guest here with me today, and I have an old guest with me here today. Now, today's podcast is not going to be about Destiny. It's not necessarily going to be about games in general, but it's rather going to look into content creation, some of the roads people go down, different possibilities with it. I'm not really sure. We're just going to kind of sit down. We're going to talk a little bit. So, without further ado, let me introduce our first guest. We have Ashton, who is better known as Pyromancer over on Twitch and on YouTube.
Yes, that's me, Pyromancer, Mansir, and a zero as an O on Twitch. Mostly what I do is I stream games. So I stream things like Cyberpunk or Sleeping Dogs or Valorant, and I put those VODs on YouTube. So you don't have to watch me in real time.
For our convenience, I'm sure, right?
Yes, yes. Totally not for more money.
Totally, totally.
Totally.
And our old guest, who you may or may not recognize from several videos, as well as podcast numero uno, Jazz Keyfall, also known as Jaron.
2 episodes and I'm already the old guest. Oh my goodness, dude.
Well, I'm
Sorry,
saying
I didn't show
old.
up to the first one.
Yeah, you were in one before. That's what I was saying.
Wow.
Well, my
Wow.
my apologies. Not quite new guest.
Exactly. That is how I will be
Relatively old.
referred to.
All right. So, like I said, we're going to talk a little bit about content creation, guys. So, for those of you who don't know, all three of us have been related to content creation in some way. Obviously, myself, otherwise, you wouldn't be watching this
It's
right now. Okay?
she's actually my first cousin.
We're not related at all. But, what you guys might not know is that Jazz Keyfall and Pyromancer, as well as myself, we made this YouTube channel kind of thing when we were perhaps not fully developed in the brain, as many would say.
I mean, you're still not, but
That is
we're
Although
getting
a
I
there.
would
fair point.
never
That is a fair point.
I would never admit to this in a court of law, by the way.
Don't
This
worry,
is
you won't
purely
have to.
hypothetical.
Purely hypothetical, yes. Back in our day, right, we made a little YouTube channel like thing and kind of just mess around with it, okay? And I would argue that's kind of what led me to make this channel that you guys are watching this on, right? Now, Ashton, I don't know if the same's for you. Kind of tell us, walk us through a little bit. What went through your head the day you decided, hey, I'm gonna make this channel on YouTube. I'm gonna start streaming on Twitch. What inspired you to do so?
So it's slightly different. We had an old Twitch channel actually where we streamed,
Mm-hmm.
and I used that. But what I would do is I play on my college's esports team. I play Valorant, and I was playing games. I was playing in leagues and stuff. So a lot of my family and friends wanted to see me play and see what that was all about. So I started streaming the games, and I was able to build up an audience there, and it was really fun. So I started streaming different games, and the rest is history. That's where I'm at now.
Gotcha, gotcha. So, just that generally wanting to share what you do.
Yes, because I was spending so much time playing the games anyway. I figured might as well start streaming it, so people that were asking about it can find out more about the games and
Gotcha.
understand it a little better.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, so if you were inspired in general to show people the game because you're doing it quite frequently, like you had just mentioned, you play for an esports team, Valorant, right?
Yes, that is correct. I've played a lot of Valorant,
So
almost too much Valorant.
I could say the same exact thing about D2, and honestly, at this point, I'm well beyond too much. So
Yeah, burnout's a real thing.
it
Got to be
is,
careful with it.
it is, and feel like too many people are realizing that just a little too late, and it's gonna drive them away from D2 specifically. But there's plenty of other games out there with similar issues right now.
Yeah, that's a tough thing about a game like Destiny, where it's a lot of a grind kind of game, like MMO style, where you're supposed to put in a lot of time to get the better gear so you can perform better. So
Mm-hmm.
it involves a lot of time. I can say having played Destiny 1 and 2, I have days worth of time put into those games. And while I might have enjoyed it while playing, looking back on it, was it the best use of my time? I No, it
Yeah, probably
may have
Or,
not.
stunted me socially, but
or if you're like me, you can put in all that time and get absolutely 0% better at the game. You could actually get worse, you know.
actually, I feel
I'm
like that right now in
convinced.
Valorant. I'm getting worse. I'm getting
Alright.
too old for it.
I'm convinced my true calling is at the bottom of the Destiny PvP ladder, just to show you how low the floor can be.
Yeah, you're there so you can make everybody else look better.
Yeah,
And that's what we love
I
to
like
see.
to I like to make others feel good about themselves with my ineptitude.
We're proud of you, Jaron.
Mm-hmm. That we
Thank
are.
you,
That
thank
we
you.
are.
It means a lot. I sacrifice a lot for this community.
So now, Ashton, just curious because I have a rough ballpark on the amount of time I spend on putting forth content, and obviously I do a little more because I do not stream like you do, so I can't just take those giant streams and cut them up a little bit, right? But how much time do you think you spend each week on content creation? And you can include streams, break it up however you see fit.
I would say streams are the biggest part. I don't do a whole lot of YouTube right now. I'm trying to get more into YouTube. So I actually have a video where we review our old videos
Mm-hmm.
from
Oh dear gosh.
the old channel days, and
Yeah,
that's my next
don't go
project
watch
of
it.
exploring that. But trying to figure out how to turn that like 3-hour VOD that we have, where we reviewed those, and trying to turn that into like even 30 minutes or 10 minutes of content. Uh, that's the biggest challenge right now for YouTube. So a lot of it is just streaming. I'm pretty inconsistent at the moment. I do have a follower goal, which will make me consistent. I actually have to set up a schedule. But I would say I spend about 10 to 20 hours streaming. It depends on the game, depends on the week, what I'm doing. Uh, I had a lot longer streams when I played like Cyberpunk or big story games, where I had some streams that were like 8 to 10 hours
Dang.
in just one stream. And those are really rough. I wouldn't recommend doing those consistently, and just because you do have to put a lot of time into it, and you're sitting at your computer or your desk for 8 hours and you don't really get a break.
Yeah. I was gonna say
But
those
like,
minute ad breaks don't seem like they'd be enough.
yeah, no, you have enough time to barely like run to the bathroom, and even then, uh, where I'm at and the location to the bathroom, it still takes me longer. So I always feel
Yeah.
bad running those ads. But I would say a good 10, 20 hours. Sometimes a lot of the actual time spent is just waiting for the VODs to render and upload to like YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm not doing like 10, 20 minutes. Usually it's like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And even though I have a pretty beefy computer, just even like limits with like network and uh, download speed, it doesn't run too well. And I think the last VOD I tried to upload, uh, I was having network problems and it took me like 12 hours to render.
Holy cow.
So
Oh.
I can't do a lot of other stuff just waiting for it to render, but
Mm-hmm.
luckily, hopefully I can turn it into a pretty good video.
Yeah. Make sure you guys go check that out. If you didn't catch it at the beginning, it's Pyromancer with a zero, Mansir. Okay.
So that's the funny thing. The YouTube is with an O,
Oh, it is.
Pyromansir,
See,
but
I
the
didn't even
Twitch
know
is
this.
with a 0. It's a little wonky because I had the YouTube channel named that before, and then I tried to get the Twitch name the same, but it wasn't available.
Gotcha.
So I
Gotcha.
have the 0 in there because I'm not going to spend
He's
money buying an account.
he's also another good voice to fall asleep to. I've used it on multiple occasions.
Yes, my streams, I stream kind of late, at least for EST. I'll go until like 10 or 11, and I think that's perfect to fall asleep to. I think streams are the best way to do that. I fall asleep to streams myself. I'll say that it's 3 hours of content's tough to watch and be engaged with the whole time,
Yeah.
especially if you're just going for the creator and maybe not the content itself,
Yep.
or even the other way around if you're just going for the game and not for the content creator. And looking at it from that sense is falling asleep to it's not a big deal. As long as you have the stream up and you're supporting me, that's enough. I don't need you to be 24/7 watching my streams, commenting, chatting, liking it, dropping subscriptions or anything like that. I don't need any of that. I just as long as someone's enjoying it or even using it as a backdrop is plenty fine to me.
See, I spend most of my day sleeping too, though. So
That's another issue I have, which is hopefully if I get enough followers, I'll set a schedule so I can actually force myself to stick to it.
Yeah.
that game Ashton was playing about sleeping dogs, that was actually based off of me. Don't watch the video though, because then you'll know it's about cops.
No, you should watch the video so you
Okay,
can prove that it was about him.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because I am secretly a dog. Sorry, guys. Had to break it to you.
Yeah. Sorry you had to find out this way. There you go. There's a good title there, Connor. Jaron's a dog?
Jaron's
Question
a dog,
mark explanation point.
I hate the vet. He took 2 things from me, man.
All right. So we got a little bit of a feel for what you're doing, why you're doing it, how we can support you, right? And just in general, what is truly like making you happy or making you feel like what you're doing is successful at this point is that as long as you have people that are enjoying the content you're putting out and dropping by and being like, hey, how's it going?
Give me lots of money though.
But
connect your PayPal, Twitch Prime.
Hey,
Twitch Prime.
Twitch Prime, dude.
Drop a Twitch Prime.
If you got that Amazon Prime, just connect them. Does it connect to accounts? I don't know what the technical
yes,
term is.
Amazon Prime, you can connect your account to Twitch, and you get a free subscription that doesn't cost you any money. You're already paying for Prime, and I get paid. You don't send me any money. It's a win-win.
Yeah, it really is.
And if I meet the next sub goal, I have to wear a wig for the whole stream. Just saying.
Oh heck yeah! So you guys know what that means. Go sub.
Next sub goal, maid costume. Just saying.
Ooh.
Just saying.
See, I don't make content, but if you want to give me money too, that's cool.
Yeah, just drop your PayPal.
Yeah.
So I guess that what Jaron just said here about him not making content. I think it's a good segue, and here's why. Okay, like I had started, to say towards the beginning, all 3 of us were once content creators. Matter of fact, in 2 different groups. Okay, one where it was more skit-like videos on YouTube, and we had a Vine account at one point, right?
Oh dear God.
And then
I tried finding the Vine account, but I believe it has been deleted due to technical limitations. They can't save everything.
Oh
Damn.
damn!
Gosh darn.
What a
that was our prime content.
That's horrible.
That was
the ghost of my past can no longer haunt me.
That's not entirely true, because at 20 subscribers on my YouTube channel, I make some of our old videos public again. So those do involve Jaron.
Yeah, right, and for those of you who did not know, like
how much is it to move to a new country?
Right now, pretty expensive.
I was gonna say, yeah, not gonna be cheap. But
more like not gonna be possible.
yeah. But we had an in-person skit kind of deal. But then we also, a little later on, had a gaming channel, right? Which is now Pyromancer. Same channel, just some of the content's
different
hidden.
It's hidden under a subscriber goal.
Exactly. Exactly.
The more subscribers I get, the more videos I make public of our
And
embarrassing past.
the more you can humiliate me.
All of us,
Precisely.
really.
Precisely.
Well, yeah.
It wouldn't be too difficult to find embarrassing things on all of us.
So what I was gonna try and get at there. So we've all done content creation, including you, Jaron. Yes.
As much as you don't like to admit it.
Yep.
I
Exactly.
plead the fifth.
But what I find, I don't know, rather entertaining, at least to me, is the reason I wanted to do content creation back in middle school when we had our first channel was because school was not giving me enough of a challenge. It was very boring, and I had a lot of free time.
Oh, I don't think you're giving him enough credit, Connor.
Well, no, it was a good school. The education level was fine, right?
We just had a lot of free time.
Yes.
What do
Partly,
you mean? They handed out the homework and we were done before she finished handing it.
well, because we were efficient.
Yeah.
Air quotes around efficient.
Yeah,
But
you can't see it right now, but I'm winking.
I
but
do have my Discord webcam on, but I don't think you'll see that in the final
no,
cut, unfortunately. So if you do
no.
want to see me, I do have webcam on stream.
Yeah.
I got to keep plugging my stream as much as possible during this.
You can see his beautiful face.
Yes, you can watch me cringe at everything in real
And
time.
then you can subscribe to him in the hopes he says your name like
I
some
will say your name. I'll
female
say
Twitch streamer.
if you subscribe, I'll say your name a lot because you gave me money for that. If you
Wow.
follow, you get some recognition because you are helping me grow my channel. But subscriptions, I talk about them a lot. I'll thank you, and even with like cheering with bits and stuff,
Yeah.
the
Plenty of different ways over on Twitch.
the money gets my attention.
Right?
Is sadly how Twitch works.
But he's also a man of the people. Give him a follow if you don't have money.
Exactly.
A follow works fine. With my channel, I have channel points where if you just watch, you get the points and you can redeem them for rewards and stuff.
Yep.
And that's one way you can interact with the chat. You can interact with me without having to spend money.
You can force him to hydrate himself.
I have things like that, or you can force me to play ads if you really want me to play an ad,
You can
which
make
is
him
sometimes
drown in
nice.
Diet Sprite.
I do have a lot of Diet Sprite, so that's entirely a possibility. Or I have other stuff where if you get a lot of points, you can force me to play whatever game I'm playing without glasses, and you probably don't know me that well. I can't see my monitor, and my monitor is very blurry if I don't have my glasses on, even though I'm this close. So it would be a bit of a struggle.
Yeah, that would suck.
That's how to interact with me, force me to do stuff without having to give me money. Or you could
I'm
always
sorry, Connor.
Twitch Prime is free. Just connect your Amazon Prime account.
Sorry, we've kind of gotten off topic, Connor.
Sorry.
No.
I have to keep plugging my channel. I have a quota to meet. Otherwise, my sponsors won't like it.
Speaking of which,
Perfectly. We're not sponsored.
We are not currently sponsored, but
not
hopefully in the
sponsored.
future.
yeah,
Hopefully
if you want to sponsor us, I mean, we won't say no.
Yeah, just throw a comment under the video if you're interested in sponsoring, and then Mekabre will get back to you.
Dream goal gets sponsored by My Little Pony videos.
Videos?
Not My Little Pony, but the people on YouTube who make videos about My Little Pony.
Yeah, Ryan's toy review.
I was gonna say it's just gonna be like toy review, ain't it?
Exactly.
Or the other, it would be a Brony channel,
Dude.
and
I want like a 40-year-old man who makes My Little Pony videos to come in.
Yeah, you have to shout out his channel.
Shout out to Definitely Not a Groomer 420.
When that happens.
All right, we'll segue out of that.
When that happens, I'll let you know, okay? But like
I think we'll lose all our viewers then.
Like I was trying to get to, right, is I found it really funny because the reason, at least myself, went along with making content or agreed to go along with this idea or started this idea in the first place in my past was that I was just generally kind of bored, right? I didn't have a lot to do. And throughout this whole quarantine situation and shutdown starting last March, right? All of us have had a lot of free time on our hands. Like way too much, in my opinion at least. And
Yes, it's certainly been pretty open,
mm-hmm.
which hasn't been good for my habits.
Well, yeah, and I mean, like, for people who play video games, if you're gonna give them just a bunch of free time and all their responsibilities that they had are gone, it's like, oh, well, I'll just play more video
I
games. Like,
still
no
don't even
problem.
play a whole lot of video games. I just sleep.
I stare into the void, honestly.
Why does that
I
not
just lay in
surprise me?
bed, which is definitely an issue because I could be streaming more, but
Mm-hmm.
I spend that time in bed.
Pro tip: stream from your bed.
Oh, dude. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I moved my whole setup back into my room.
Just like tape it to the ceiling, so that way you don't even have to move your head.
Exactly. You can do that where you have like a chair that like leans back and all of the monitors are like attached overhead,
Mm-hmm.
and you can look at them there. It was
Those
a sick thing
setups
I
are
saw.
sick.
I saw it at a esports tournament I went to a couple years ago in North Carolina, and they had one of those, and it was really sick. It looked somewhat uncomfortable, just because the size, it wasn't big enough for me. But
That would suck then.
yeah, you spend thousands of dollars on it and it doesn't even fit you.
I'm pretty sure they'd let you test it beforehand.
Yeah, or
Yeah,
you
I
could
would hope
return
so.
it if you bought it online and didn't fit.
Like, it doesn't fit me.
Oh, too bad.
Sorry. You're in the hole 10 grand.
Okay, segueing back to whatever
Yes.
Connor wanted
Yeah.
to say.
Yep. Back to what I was trying to get at. And so I had this area started two different channels, helped two different channels, whatever, right? Because I was bored. And then same thing happened with the channel that we're all on right now with mekabre&co. I got bored, didn't have enough to do, and I'm like, hey, let's start a YouTube channel. And I just find it very entertaining because we'd all complained in the past about like, dude. Well, we didn't complain in the past. The only time we've started complaining is like recently. Back then, we're like, heck yeah, dude, we have so much free time. This is amazing. But now we're all like, okay, we had a little too much free time. But
Yeah,
having that connection is, I find, is just so cool. And I don't know. I mean, with me, it's a little different because I'm not as connected to like the community that I'm actually like making videos for. Because the only way you can get back to me right now is through comments. Like I don't have another way you can reach out with. Like with you streaming, you have direct
I get instant
contact.
feedback.
Yeah. It's like, oh, well, they clearly did not like this game. I only had two people watching, and one of them was myself. It's like, this isn't
Yeah, one
good.
of them was the other one was my dad. So.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like that. Right away whether or not it's gonna flop. With me, it's like, I'll put a video out, and it might get like 6 views, and then 2 weeks later, it's still at the same 6 views it started with, and it's like,
Yes, it's much tougher with YouTube, especially in the beginning, because
mm-hmm.
you're just with the analytics and the algorithm. It's not going to show your videos as much.
Yeah.
And it's hard to figure out what you need to do, what lengths you need, because you don't get as much access to those tools unless you're like a larger YouTuber, where you actually get those tools to see like how your video is performing
Yeah.
in comparison.
The actual like analytics tab on YouTube is so annoying right now because until you hit like 1,000 subs, it's like, sorry, you can't unlock this feature yet.
Yeah, you don't get access to anything unless you actually become like a partner,
Mm-hmm.
which does make things tougher. With Twitch, they have a lot of the analytics there for you, but you can generally get a good feel just based on when you're playing. You can see if people are chatting a lot, or if like what, it's more so of a time thing, like when you stream.
Yeah.
Because if you stream like at 1 in the morning for most of your audience, they're not going to be as invested because most of them are going to be asleep.
Yeah.
So I try and tailor my streams around that. Try and stream at specific times, and try and stick to a somewhat regular schedule. It's up in the air if like if I'm trying to get someone in later on. I try and tailor my schedule around them as much as possible, so my guests, whoever I'm playing with, doesn't have as much of an issue getting on. But generally, I try and it's just sticking to that same schedule.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best way to do it.
Gotcha. Now, real quick, we're gonna start to wrap up here. So, last thing we're gonna talk about, and Jaron, unfortunately, I don't know how much you're gonna really have to say about this since you don't
Oh,
have content creation currently, right? I mean,
Connor,
you've helped.
I always have stuff to say, even if it's not relevant. Okay,
Well, yeah,
That is
sure.
true.
But since you've only really helped with my channel as well as Ashton's, it's we'll see where if you got something to say, just drop in because otherwise, I don't know how much you're gonna be able to contribute, right?
Mhm.
We'll start with you, Ashton. If you had like one big thing you would say to anyone who's thinking about doing streaming or doing a YouTube channel, content creation as a whole, and maybe they have an actual goal in mind, maybe they have a game in mind, maybe they have a general idea of what they would like to do you have anything that you would like to tell them, even though both of us are still starting up? We're still trying to get going, right? But
Okay.
we at least
Yeah,
have our feet on the ground running.
I would say the biggest thing is don't go in for money. Don't think you're gonna get big. Don't do it for that. While the money it would be nice, it's nice getting donations and stuff like that for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But don't go in wanting that because then you'll come off kind of just out of touch. You won't really be relatable because you're just gonna appear money hungry. So don't go for that. Don't go for the numbers. Just do it because you enjoy it, and that's the biggest thing. Is just enjoy what you're doing because then other people will at least understand that you enjoy this and will probably more likely gravitate towards you.
Okay.
The other thing I would say is be consistent. Stick to
Mm-hmm.
a schedule, and that's the best way to do it.
I can agree with that very much. So, as a matter of fact, it's one of the things I decided I'm gonna start working on here is schedule as to when videos come out because otherwise it's just kind of like, oh, we'll send one out this week, we won't for the next two, and oh here.
Yes, I have those same issues even with just cutting up VODs as I'll start doing them and then I'll like get distracted and start working on something else or like, oh, I should probably stream now.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'll miss a couple of days of uploading a VOD and then have to come back later.
Yeah, consistency is definitely key. I would agree with that 100%. As for myself, something I would definitely stress, if you're gonna get into this world of content creation, I highly encourage it. First of all, anyone who is going to dedicate some time to putting out quality content, it's personally I think it's so much fun, and I'm hoping other people find interest in it as well. And
I'd rather you just be a viewer of me, but you can make content if you want.
make content if you want, but yes,
Just make sure you're still
support.
watching me.
Yeah, support the people you've been supporting. Don't
That's
try and
that's
replace
the
them.
biggest thing is watch me still.
um, but I think the one thing, or well, really two things. The first thing that I'd have to say is make sure that you're truly, in love with the content that you're putting out. Don't force a video if it doesn't feel right or if something's just not working for whatever reason. Every time you sit down to edit this video, you're just like, I just, I can't do it, or it doesn't feel right. Just don't.
If
Yeah.
you don't want to marry that video by the time you put it out, you should just divorce it. You know,
Yeah, exactly. That's
tell it
the best way to put it.
tell it I'll see the kids on weekends and like maybe holidays, and then just send the video away.
No, but Jaron brings up a valid point. It's just, if you're not feeling it, even though he may or may not have just gotten lost in his analogy there, if you're not
Lost
feeling it,
in the sauce.
if you're not feeling it, just let it be. And then the second thing that I'd have to say, just overall, before you get started, look at why you're truly doing it. And this is kind of like what Ashton had just talked about. Don't do it for the money, because the likelihood of you going big, more than likely this late into a game that's already been out for so long, is very small. I picked a game that's been out for a long time now. What, we're
And it
starting
doesn't
year
have the
4?
largest fan base of
Yeah,
anything like that. It's not the hit game right now. And
exactly. And the reason I'm doing it is not because I want to get big, but because I'm trying to help the community of, Bungie's community, Destiny 2, and I feel like I can do that. I think I'll do that in a couple different ways, and that's why I'm still here. But my goal isn't to get huge and beat Rick Cackus and Dado out there. I mean, it'd be sweet if I did, but that's not my goal, because I still watch their content and I still, like their stuff.
Collab?
If
yes,
I can get a collab with either of
next
them
guest.
this early, dude, I'm
Yeah,
set.
Next
you'd be set
guest.
for life.
Yeah. Now,
Rick Dado.
all right, last thoughts. Anyone? You have like 30-ish seconds. My apologies. 30-ish seconds. Ready, so Ashton, go.
Okay, well, yes, watch my streams, twitch.tv/PYR0MANSIR, or watch the VODs that I've uploaded onto YouTube at Pyromancer with an O. But remember, Mancer, MANSIR. It's
Yep.
a little different, it's
Yep.
a little fancier.
All right, 30-second wrap up. Jaron, go.
I think it's been hounded at this point, but I don't make content. But I'm happy to help these guys, and you should really check them out. And also,
Yeah, we
why
just brought you on to make fun of you,
Awkward silence.
really, for not having a YouTube or a Twitch, so
these guys just bully me all the time because I'm a dog.
yeah. You can't even use your paws to play games or
Listen, just because I'm neutered doesn't mean I'm any less of a man.
All right,
That
guys.
vet is evil, and I hate all Roombas.
I'll pretend you didn't say that.
I want to thank Ashton for being on stream. I want to thank Jaron for being on a stream. Whoa. I want to thank Ashton and Jaron for being on this podcast. Jaron, thank you for your second time. Hopefully many more for both of you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
As an old guest, I feel like I have a lot of knowledge in this area. I'm
As
very sage and
A
wise.
geriatric guest, you are.
Mhm.
But thank you very much for being here, sharing your guys' ideas.
Yeah, no problem.
You know what they
Hope
say.
to be back.
Yes.
Can't
yes.
teach an old dog new tricks.
All right, guys. I want to thank everyone who's watching this podcast on YouTube. I want to thank everyone who's listening to it on Spotify, on Google Podcasts, anywhere you listen to podcasts. Check me out because it is up, okay? I promise you, mekabre&co. Check me out on all those platforms. If you aren't subscribed, please subscribe and turn the bell on so that way you know when I'll put new stuff out, right? Trying to get the schedule going. We're thinking maybe something like every Tuesday and every Friday, all right? We'll see what happens. I'm not really
Best
sure.
of luck with that.
Make sure you check out my friend Pyromancer over on Twitch and on YouTube. Remember, it's spelled 2 different ways. Back the video up. He spells it for you. I don't want to mess it up. And with that, you
Just
guys...
put it in the description.
It'll be in the description down below, even better. That way you guys can copy. I'll put links down there, so that way you guys just click on them, nice and easy for you, okay? With that, you guys already know how this video is going to end. Get back to grinding, you crazy guardians.